Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, guys. Let me go live on Instagram, inshallah. Welcome, guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, enjoying yourselves. This is my name is Diakat Zaman, and we are in the YouTube channel Roots of Knowledge. Every Fridays we have a live stream, and Saturdays we have a live stream as well. And that's it, guys. That's basically what we do. The weather is very nice today. Today was a very nice Jummah. Hope your Jummah is very well, or if you haven't had your Jummah yet, hope it's going to be very well. Wa alaikum assalam, Muhammad Khalid, ahlan wa sahlan. Wa alaikum assalam, Brother Muhammad, ahlan wa sahlan. I hope you're well. I'm very well, thank you very much. Just feel a bit tired, a little bit sleepy and tired. First timer, ahlan wa sahlan, Muhammad Khalid. Thank you very much, Muhammad Khalid, and Allah bless you and your family. Jazakallah khair for your kind words. Right, so this week has been a quiet week. I haven't put any videos up because I've been quite busy with marking exams, and so inshallah, hopefully next week, inshallah, I'll put some videos up. I've got my holidays now, so I'm kind of like chilling out a bit as well. Okay, let's just see if the live stream is working well. All right, so last week I had a charity ride, mashallah. I put up the details of that on my Telegram and on my social media as well. The ride was from Birmingham to Gloucester, which was about 60 odd miles. Wa alaikum assalam, Altaf. Welcome, my brother Altaf. Long time, guys. Who's here? Altaf's here. The guys that you've been missing. Altaf, these guys have been saying, where's the 3 dates? Presenters, where are they? I said, retired. Yeah, OAPs, they've retired, given up. Wa alaikum assalam, Masir, my brother Masir. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, Mr. America, Hyderabadi America. Is there another opinion of eating fish that floats, samak al-tafi, in the Hanafi school? You mean the official position is that it's considered makruh to eat al-tafi? Yeah. There are other opinions which say it's makruh tanzihi, or it's okay. But from Abu Hanifa, it's mentioned. Yeah. Because the potential of that fish having died of some sort of toxin or something. Ready to come out of retirement? Oh yes, let's do it, bro. Let's do once a month. Let's do once a month, 3 dates. Podcast once a month. The podcast season has now restarted. Nice to hear. Now we got Naveed on stream. I know you gotta get Naveed. Trying to get Naveed is basically trying to get Hanafi to eat prawns. That's getting Naveed on. 3 dates have become dry. Badam. Yeah, so that's right. I agree with you. Abu Hafsa, alaikum assalam, mashallah. Nav is celebrity. Nav, that's it. He's traveling sometimes in Canada, sometimes he's, I don't know where, traveling with all these big shots. He's been quiet, hasn't he? He hasn't really kind of come up with any poetry these days. He's been a bit quiet. Nav's now sort of like light setting. Sometimes he'd have a lamp on top of his head, and sometimes under his head, and sometimes all over the place. Now the podcast scene should be perfect now. Yeah, with all those years, he should have had a lot of practice and got himself some good technology. Altaf, I keep seeing your uncle in the mosque. He keeps saying to me, get Altaf to do a barbecue. I go, yes, that's it, uncle. Tell your nephew, get the barbecue ready, inshallah. I am ready 24/7. What's this podcast about today? So today is not a podcast. Today is just a live stream Q&A where you guys can ask some questions, and inshallah I'll try to answer your questions. Or you can ask me about my channel, anything of that nature, inshallah. So today we had a Jummah so far. Unfortunately, the speakers were not working out so far. Something happened, there's a malfunction. So the speakers didn't work. So I didn't do bayan today, alhamdulillah. I kind of got away with doing bayan today. Inshallah, I need to sort me out. Inshallah, bro. I'm waiting. All I'm telling you is I'm just waiting here. Yeah, you know where I am. You know my location. You know my location. I know your location. I'm just waiting. Yeah. So today, I'm a bit tired. Yesterday night we had the guys had a games night. We call it games night. So guys come down and play games, different board games, and we had a games night. So mashallah, it's really good, very enjoyable games night. I mean, it would be good if you could do games night like somehow, I don't know, online games night, but that would be difficult. It has to be in the same room, same setting. Fayaz Ali wa alaikum assalam. Muhammad, if during Salah you are in another room and the speaker stops, so you don't know what is being read, what do you do? So what you do is you estimate what the Imam's doing and try to delay your Salat and then just do all the actions of Salat, imagining that the Imam is there. And if your actions occur, if the Imam finishes the Salat and then you do all your actions, your Salat will be valid. That's basically. So let's say, for example, the Imam speaker went in the third rakat. So now what you do is just wait for a little while and then give enough time that you know that the Imam would have gone into ruku and got up and gone to sajda, and then you kind of slowly do the actions. So what's the best way to speak Arabic? I've learned some vocabulary but feel nervous. What I would suggest, Brother Muhammad Khalid, is try to get someone to speak with. So you can get these kind of Arabs in Egypt or in Morocco or Jordan. I think they charge like a very small fee, and you just speak with them. You get someone who knows Fusha Arabic, and then just speak with them, and then have discussions and say, how would you say this? And that way, what happens is you force yourself to speak. That's probably, I would say, nowadays one of the most practical ways of learning spoken Arabic. What is your view on Fiqh al-Akbar and those people who say that Abu Muti al-Balkhi is a weak narrator? Yeah, they are. I mean, Mufti Abdul Rahman Manghera has written in the introduction of Fiqh al-Akbar about this. So some have said that he is, as in he's in being a weak narrator. Do you mean in hadith or do you mean in regards to this book being attributed to Abu Hanifa? So some of the scholars like Mullah Ali Qari, he seems quite confident the book is attributed to Abu Hanifa, and others seem to say that it's not. I would say the stronger position would be that the book is not Abu Hanifa's, but you can see that Abu Hanifa has a part to play in that book. Yeah, there's like a very strong inspiration from Abu Hanifa rahimahullah in that book. Also, you can also read Sheikh Zahid al-Kawthari has the Muqaddimat of Kawthari. Someone's collected, and in there he's got a section. One of the Muqaddimat is on the Fiqh al-Akbar. If someone is illiterate and never learned tajweed and now in old and teeth have fallen, if such a person pronounces letters incorrectly, yeah, the salah will be valid, inshallah. Because Allah does not burden a person more than they can bear. We never got to play 8-ball pool together. Oh yeah, that's true. You know what? I actually deleted that from my phone ages ago. But you know what? This game night is really good. We have these board games, and some of them are like quick fire questions, and some of them are sort of like strategy games. It's really good. Sometimes they can last for some of these different games we play. So the whole night can sometimes last 7-8 hours, easy. What about 10th of Muharram Roza, please? Yeah, so it's a very good Roza to keep, very good fast to keep, the 10th of Muharram. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith that 1 year of past sins will be wiped out if you fast the 10th of Muharram. So it's very, very noble to fast this. What if Imam is finished and you're still on third rakat estimating? Yeah, that's fine. Then you just do all the actions, because then you'll be counted as someone who just slacked in the actions and did them later. As long as all your actions take place after the Imam, they're okay. Wa alaikum assalam, Valerie, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome, Valerie Amrika. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Hope everything is well in America. Okay, so let me just. This is just on Instagram. What is the best chronological recommendation to go through your YouTube playlist for a native Urdu speaker and who knows 70-80% of? I mean, the problem is my videos are not designed for Urdu speaking. But if you know English, then I would say the best way to go through my video list on my YouTube channel would be to go through, number one, go through. So if you're going to start from the absolute scratch, go through, learn how to read the Quran. That would be the first thing, to learn how to string the words and letters together. Second, I would say try to go through videos that are related to the Quran. So those videos that relate to Quran, like for example, the Surah Baqarah series, go through them. Then I would suggest going through something like, if you can, that is, Ajur Rumiyah. Yeah, Ajur Rumiyah, go through Ajur Rumiyah. And it depends what route you want to take. If you have learned 70-80% of the Quran vocab, Ajur Rumiyah will be very good. And then going through something like Surah Yusuf series, that would be very good. Going through the letters of the Quran of Arabic, like I've gone through Ba and Min, yeah, Huruf, that series, that would be good as well. Going through the Balagha series, yeah, 19 lessons of Surah Amma. But generally, I would say what you need to do is you need to practice reading as much as you can. Practice as much as you can. Start with storybooks. Alaikum assalam. Ayaz, ahla wa sahla Maulana. Is it okay to perform salah behind Imam who has his pants below the ankle but follows the Shafi madhab? Yes, it'll be permissible. Yeah, because having the trousers below the ankles is considered makruh tanzihi. It's called makruh tanzihi. Abu Najifa, ahlan wa sahlan. My name is Rasiluddin. I'm from Bangladesh. Recently, I have done your Ajurumi and Surf course. What course should I do now for reading Arabic? Go through, what I would suggest is, so if you go through my Kuduri series, that would be very helpful. Kuduri series. You go through my Kuduri series, or you can even go through something like Surah Yusuf. So if you look at there's a Surah Yusuf playlist there. Umair, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, Umair. I'm very well, thank you very much. Hope you're good. Muhammad Khalid says, do you take students elder on teaching Hal Ibarat and grammar? You know, the thing is, I don't teach privately unless it's part of the Patreon. So I've got a Patreon, and if a person subscribes to that Patreon, depending on how much, what tier they're on, they get lessons. So some can get 1 lesson a month, some gets 2 lessons a month. Yeah, that's the only one that I do. But otherwise, I don't do private lessons. I do Hidayah lessons free of charge for anyone can attend. That's on Wednesday nights, 10:30 in the evening. But at the moment, I don't do any Hal Ibarat. I had a series on the Hal of Ibarat series, which was reading Arabic series. And that's in one of the playlists. Valerie, Texas, ahlan wa sahlan. Are men allowed to wear a watch that contains gold inside the dials, like the hands? Possibly, yeah. Possibly. As long as, so the prohibition is wearing gold. So therefore, having sort of dials and cogs made of gold, there would possibly be permission for that, because that's not technically wearing the item. That's just part of the item itself. Sheikh, how to be solid in fiqh? Like, I seem to forget my lessons soon after. Any tips? Keep going over it, Abu Hafs. Honestly, just keep going over them. Teach it to people. Keep going over your work and read other books on a similar level or a bit more advanced. The more you're going to read, the more you're going to become confident with it. That's the thing. You have to become confident with fiqh. I've heard this, and I've kind of come to a conclusion which I think is right. If you keep going over one book time and time again, and try to break it down, try to understand, you become stronger in fiqh than reading lots of books. Like if you kind of study Kuduri very, very carefully again and again and really solidify your understanding of it, that would be better than studying 2 or 3 books of fiqh. Can you start reading the takbir and tasbih during ruku and sujood aloud whilst guessing to help others? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I mean, reading the takbirs would be sufficient. Yeah. Tajweed videos. Jazakallah khair. MashaAllah. Where have you reached up to, Valerie? What's the correct opinion regarding ilm al-kalam? Some people say it's something found from the Greek philosophers. And so ilm al-kalam is basically, it was designed after the time of the Sahaba and after to protect, it was a rational approach to protect Aqidah. That's all it is. Yeah. It's like grammar. Grammar was designed after the Sahaba and it was designed to preserve the Arabic language. So grammar is not Arabic language. That's the thing. So ilm al-kalam is permissible. It's fine. Nothing's wrong with it. The early scholars were against ilm al-kalam that was deviant ilm al-kalam. Ilm al-kalam, it was a general term used for anyone who discusses Aqidah. So anyone who debates Aqidah, it was known as ilm al-kalam. And there were lots of scholars who were against this because many people were using deviant arguments. Yeah, like the Mu'tazila, the Khawarij, and blah, 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 all these people. So that kind of ilm al-kalam was toxic, was wrong. But the ilm al-kalam, which is to preserve people's Aqidah, that's fine. I personally thought Nahu Mir was better for non-Arabs than Ajurumiyya, as Nahu Mir was good step to study Hidayah, Nahu. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nahu Mir is a very good book. Very thorough, nice. I mean, there are many, the thing is, there are many Arabic books that are written out there that are very, very good. But the thing is that it's the style of teaching. The style of teaching and the aims and objectives of what the teacher has is the most important thing. So if you have a good teacher who can really get the Nahu into you and make you understand, whatever book he's going to teach, he probably will teach you very good. Yeah, so I would say you're right. I would actually prefer teaching something like maybe even Nahu Mir, or maybe something of that kind of level of Nahu. This is a very thorough. The Nahu that I was writing before, that was very good because I was very thorough. I was going through every single aspect, breaking it down. Sometimes what happens in Nahu is students, they suffer because there are certain things in Nahu books which are assumed you know already. And that can have like a stunting effect on the students' development. So the student sometimes needs to know all the background details, all the things related to a mubtada, everything related to a khabar. How many types of mubtada are there? How many types of khabar are there? And needs to know a lot of Arabic language as well. That's the thing. Like they say in it, Nahu is like salt to food. How can I offer my previous namaz which I missed due to some reason? Inshallah, Allah will forgive you. Just keep praying them, my brother Fayaz. Just slowly, as best as you can, pray them, inshallah. Should one study sarf before nahu for someone who has fair grasp of Quran's vocabulary? I would say, first of all, before going into sarf or nahu, try to read Arabic stories as much as you can, and then start to focus on the Arabic sarf and nahu. What do you like teaching the most subject books at the moment? Probably is fiqh at the moment, because that's the main thing I'm teaching at the moment because I'm on holiday. Fiqh would probably be at the moment, but I like teaching fiqh, Quran. I like teaching hadith, language, lugha. What's the link should be in the description below. So in the description of the video. What part of Hidayah are you on? We just started fasting. So how long do the Hidayah lessons last each week? About an hour. So please do a tarkeeb and translation series. Inshallah. Check out the videos that I've made. I've done a few tarkeebs as well. So I've done the Surah Qasas, the whole tarkeeb of Surah Qasas. Check that out. What malaka is expected from a student after they complete Hidayah? Don't expect them to have an amazing understanding. What they're going to develop in Hidayah is they're going to develop the ability to be able to understand the contribution Sahib al-Hidayah has made, and how the mechanics of fiqh work. That's basically what you want. So basically, if you were to ask them, okay, how would Sahib al-Hidayah tackle this masala? How would Sahib al-Hidayah present this masala? That's how you'd expect them to understand. قراءة كتاب مرتين خير من قراءة كتاب. That's it. That's the one I like that. Wa alaikum assalam, Ahmed R. Can you clarify narrations such as شاوروهن خالف النساء فإن في خالفهن في خلافهن البركة. I don't know the authenticity of this narration, but if the narration is authentic, then what the narrations would mean is generally this does not mean that in every case when you consult women that you should not listen to their opinion. No, because the Prophet ﷺ, he listened to the opinion of Salama, he listened to the opinion of Aisha radiallahu anha. So that wouldn't make sense then. That's what I'm saying. If this narration is authentic, I haven't checked it out to what the scholars say. So if it is authentic, then it has to mean in certain situations. Like for example, like the ayah of the Quran where in testimony, one man and two women in testimony. That would be more to do with the emotion. So if a woman is heavily, emotional regarding something and she gives an opinion about something, then be careful of taking that opinion. That's all it means. It is not a general rule for how you treat women at all. No. Yeah. So we have to be careful how this narration comes out, because otherwise it sounds very derogatory. And we know from a fact the Prophet would do consultation with women, and they gave him very good opinions, and he took them on many occasions. Wah wah ya Muhammad, Ustad Quduri and Kanz and Sharh Wiqaya, are they all fiqh books? But what's each book specifically? What's the pros of each book? So Quduri is basically, it's a condensation of it's a condensing of the Zahir Riwayah. Yeah, so the Zahir Riwayah of the Madhab is basically what we want. It's the most strongest position that we take. And the Quduri represents what we call Matan. And Matan is basically Zahir Riwayah in just the shortest, sweetest words you can get. That's Quduri, that is. So the core, the Masail you're going to find in there, but not every Masail. It doesn't mean that everything that's in there is taken and everything that's not in there is not taken. No. There's things outside of the text that are also discussed as well. Kanz is a more advanced, it's built upon Quduri. Yes, it's built upon Quduri. So it's got some more extra discussions which in between Quduri and between Kanz, scholars discussed have been incorporated into it. But the thing is, what you need to do is, I would say, is you need to study, like ideally, this is what I'm at the moment writing on. I'm writing on, at the moment I've reached about 30 rules in Hanafi school that students should know before studying fiqh. So if you know these 30 rules or so, there's going to be a bit more maybe, but these 30 rules, if you know these 30 rules, then it's going to become really easy to be able to understand how this works. So that's basically at the moment what I'm working on, inshallah. Make dua that it gets completed and get it edited. So when you're studying Hanafi fiqh, what you have to remember is these books are meant to be like a gateway access point for you to be able to get into the Hanafi fiqh, understand how it works, understand the. 1 second, for some reason the signal has gone on Instagram. Yeah, so that's basically what it is. Kanz is the coolest. Quduri contains the essence of the madhab which you should master. Kanz also contains Qawm but extended in some. That's right. I agree. Are you still teaching Nur Anwar? No. This year I taught Matl Manar this year. Matl Manar. I taught nearly all the Matl Manar. Just a few pages were left. So we went past Qiyas. And what type of steak is good to have? I don't like beef because I'm peaceful. It all depends. The other day I had tomahawk steak. Tomahawk steak. It's quite thick, tough. What I would suggest for you to have, if you don't like having tough steak, have a brisket. Yeah, briskets are very good. Okay, so I don't know Instagram if you guys can still hear me. But for some reason, something has happened to the Instagram and it's not really. Let's see. Something seems to be wrong with the Instagram. You can't see it for some reason. Yeah, I think. Okay, is it back? Yeah, so that's what I would say about fiqh books. The thing you have to remember about fiqh books is a lot about trying to understand what each book is contributing towards the fiqh, yeah, and how the teacher presents the masail. So it's almost like the fiqh book is used as a stage to try and develop the student's understanding of debating fiqh. If that makes sense. So if you like steak, I would say maybe sirloin steak is very nice. Sirloin steak is very, very good. But if you don't like that, then get yourself chicken steak or lamb steak. If the wife and mother have conflicting requests from the husband on a matter, who deserves priority? Depends what matter is. Depends. If it's something related to the wife's rights, then the wife has. If it's something related to the mother's rights, then the mother has. At that point, I might as well do Qira of Hidayah and ask to go to Dawrah. Can you explain what you mean by the contribution of Sahib Hidayah and what that may be from Tahara? Yeah, so contributions of Sahib Hidayah. For example, like what you do is you get Hidayah and you get the books that were written before Hidayah and then you read them and then you can see the style of Hidayah is different from this. So for example, like Sahib Hidayah, one of the things that he does is he brings this idea of Zahir Riwayah and he compares it with Quduri text. So you'll see him often saying Quduri said this, but Zahir Riwayah says this. So it's as though he's kind of like doing like an analysis of the matans against the Zahir Riwayah books that have reached him. So that's one of the things that he does. Another thing that he does is he does a lot of mentioning of the Mashaykh's aqwal. Whenever he says qila hakadha or qalu, they said or it said, he brings there. And you can see his style is very similar to Sarakhsi's style because Sarakhsi was his grand teacher in that. So he's got that style there as well. And he also, for example, like in Kitab al-Tahara, he also mentions things like the masala with regards to squeezing the grapes, that water you can use it for wudu. So the idea of squeezing, he presents that as he gives fatwa on that you can use water that's from non-squeezed grapes. So squeezed grapes you can't use for wudu, but for non-squeezed grapes, so grapes that have been left hanging and the water's been dripping, you can use that. If you want to read more about this kind of thing, then I would definitely recommend reading Sheikh Suhail Hanif's PhD on Hidayah. Give us a trailer of some rules. Yeah, that would be that. Oh, some of the rules that I've written. Let me see if I've got some here with me. History. Oh, there's another thing that I was actually writing as well, and I just found it going through my work. It's basically, in fiqh, so from the days of Jahiliyyah, what kind of things did they used to do, which are also found in fiqh as well? So, for example, like washing of the limbs. So, did the Quraysh used to wash limbs? So, I found in some history books, like examples of them doing these kind of things. Them having hammams, right? The idea of hammams, bathing, public baths. Women using certain types of herbs or plants to wash their hair. And the reason I did this was because what I wanted people to try and understand how fiqh was very strongly linked to understanding what was happening in their days, the Jahiliyyah days. So if you understand what was happening in Jahiliyyah, fiqh becomes very, very easy to understand. Okay, let me just try to find. Hidayah. Share. Yeah, I'll have to check because my laptop's downstairs and it's on my laptop. I thought I'd have it here. But yeah, the history one is a very good one, I think. right? Because a lot of people don't know the link between how fiqh transitioned from, or how it developed in the Jahili culture. So in the Jahili culture, how this fiqh began to emerge. So what kind of things basically were there in Jahiliyyah which the Prophet ﷺ adopted and he continued to use? Or yeah, no, I can't seem to find it. Hidayah. Yeah, maybe tomorrow, inshallah, in the live stream. Maybe tomorrow I might do it. I'll show you guys. Can every bab in fiqh be reduced to one or two qawaid, or would they require more? Yeah, definitely more. So one or two kind of like major concepts governing, but then there's going to be some of them which are going to have other external qara'in or factors which alter the masala. So for example, like tayammum is going to obviously be based upon around the whole concept of absence of water or incapacity of using water. It's going to be revolving around that. Slave Allah Shaykh, what's the criteria of a solid iftar course in terms of teaching style and syllabus? So if you want a solid iftar course, I would say that what you need in a solid iftar course is students that have covered the entire fiqh. They need to come to iftar and they can locate masail in the books without the teacher telling them. So they need to have a very good understanding of fiqh. So first of all, the student needs to qualify to get into the fiqh, the iftar. Once they're at that level that they can read like several of the major books themselves, the Arabic is easy for them, and they know where to locate the masail. That's one of the major aspects. The second is the teacher needs to teach them the concept of how to navigate through the masail, which masail to take, which ones don't you take, how do you give preference to one over the other. That's the main thing the teacher is going to give to the student, that the student cannot find himself in the books. Yeah, that's basically it. So if someone asks you a question, for example, can a woman pray salat with lipstick on? Right. So now how are you going to look? So you'll need to know where to look in the books, and then you'll need to know which masail to extract and which ones to analyze, and then which ones to take for your answer. Follow up on the Arabic stories book. I get are usually without tashkil, the Seeker's Aid, which has one page in Arabic then English. Someone guided me that if I do, yeah, that seems good. Someone guide me, if I do sarf and nahu, I'll read the book faster. No, that's not true. From my experience, that won't be true. See, the thing is, I know there's lots of people out there who know Arabic, but they don't know the grammar, and they can read lots of books. Like literally, they can read probably more books than many graduates or madrasas can read. Because learning a language is basically acquiring the ability to comprehension. Is parents' home where you grew up defined as watan in context of travelers? So basically, if you don't have a home, you live in your parents' home, you'd assume that to be your watan asli. Unless you have deliberately moved from that place to another place, then you have your own watan asli. For the parents' home question: if one has a room in that house with clothes that he can wear, one doesn't know any article of parents. Yeah. So if you have no home and you're a nomad, so the Hanafis discuss this idea of nomads. So you basically like a traveler. You've got like a caravan and you move around place to place and you don't settle. Then there's separate rules for that. But if you're someone who basically has kind of like almost, you can say, a permanent residency in a particular home, whether you're sleeping on the couch or whether you're sleeping on the bed, you consider that your watan asli. Yeah, that's how you'd consider it. Okay, next. Biscuits sound good. Sheikh, what about niyaz and sabil, food and drinks people distribute mostly in Muharram? So the Sahaba never did this. So there's no specific reward in doing these things. Unless you're just doing this out of charity, then charity is good. Is it true that the mother tells you to leave your wife? You have to? No, you don't have to. That's not true. I think I asked regarding the possibility of photography, videography in another video, but I can't find it. Please, can you repeat the evidences Inshallah, ask me tomorrow because I'm going to go off in a bit. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit long to explain. Ask me tomorrow, inshallah. Is one of the rules al-yaqeen la yazulu bi-shak? No, that's a qaida, that's a qaida. Yes, so that would come under qawaid. So there's a section I've written on qawaid, how qawaid are understood in fiqh. Like, for example, how qawaid are used, how dawabit are used in fiqh, how qiyas is used, how istihsan is used. The different sort of topics. Salam alaikum Liban, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, my brother Liban. What's your favorite Islamic history books other than Sirah? So it all depends. I mean, at the moment, one that I'm reading is called Tarikh al-Mufassal fil Arab. I think it's called Qabl al-Islam by Ali Jawad. So it's a history book it's about 10 volumes long. I'm not reading all of it. I'm just reading sections. So that's a book I like at the moment. It goes through Jahiliyyah. It goes through categorically, like various things, how they used to go and suffer, how they would have families, how they would have marriages, how they would have religious festivals, etc. It's like understanding washing of hands after waking up. The Sahaba would sleep without clothes, hence why washing hands was encouraged. Something like that. I love hearing Ustad topic. Ahlan wa sahlan, Valerie. Ahlan wa sahlan. Inshallah, one day, Valerie, you'll become a expert in fiqh. Are you planning to add more uruk courses? Yes, inshallah. I'm actually at the moment I'm going through Aqidah Tahawiyah. So inshallah, once I get that edited, I'm going to put them up, inshallah. So I'll first of all give access to my patrons, inshallah, for that. So I've got an Aqidah course, a Nurul Idah course I'm doing as well. How does the teaching and quality of iftar differ country to region? Are there places in madaris whose graduates you trust? Yeah, definitely. So if it's like a well-known institute, I would trust them. So for example, Mufti Taqi Usmani's madrasa, yeah, Darul Uloom Karachi, I would definitely trust that. Banuri Town, Jamia Rashidiyah. So these are the kind of places that I would definitely trust. Again, there's a lot of places iftar is done and the students are not, I know it, they are not capable of reading an Arabic book. Honestly, it's so sad. It's very, very sad. If a student cannot read Arabic on their own, they cannot do iftar. They cannot do iftar. I mean, they can try to do it and just understand little bits and bobs, but they don't have the skill of iftar. That's what it is. It's like, imagine someone who doesn't have arms and wants to be a bricklayer. You know, it's not really practical. How can a student at Alimiya Iftar specialize in fiqh? What should they read? They need to study fiqh from a teacher. That's the most important. The reason we have iftar courses, in the past they didn't have them. The reason we have them today is because our level of fiqh is dropping over the years, unfortunately. In the past they didn't have specialization in fiqh. They would study by a teacher until they were specialized. That's how it was. I don't think you can trust and not trust people as a whole. Wouldn't it be case by case? I'm not sure. Yeah, definitely case by case. But generally, you'd know, for example, if someone qualified from Oxford and Cambridge University, you'd know you could trust them. Yeah, it's just very logical, because there's a lot of checks and tests that are in place to test whether the graduate is capable of qualifying. And unfortunately, there's a lot of places I know, especially in the UK, I know the students are not qualified. And unfortunately, they get qualified from Alimiya course, they qualify from iftar, but they're not really qualified. How can a student in Alimiya graduate special and fiqh? What are they? Yeah, answer that one. How and where would you find the answer for the question of salah with lipstick? So this is where it requires understanding how fiqh works. So you'd have to understand what role does lipstick play in the concept of wudu. That's one. So you'd have to look into those masail to do with barriers on the skin. Yeah, what kind of barriers are considered to be barriers that stop wudu from being valid, and which ones? And then you'd have to look into the concept of ingredients in lipstick, for example. So you'd have to know where to look in the masail in the books. in regards to having ingredients in a particular substance that you put in your body? What would the ruling of salat be? Then you'd have to look into the concept of wearing lipstick. Would it be considered to be tashabbuh with another religion? You'd have to look into that. Then you have to look into the concept of in salat itself. Would wearing lipstick in salat be something considered to be something which is from the karahat of salat? Is it something which is, embellishing oneself excessively? So that's how you'd have to analyze, understand. How and do all patrons get all Uruk courses? No. So it's just selected ones that I'll put on now and again. What are your thoughts on Iftar al-Jami Ashrafiyya Lahore? I don't know. It seems like some places where they do Iftar, there seems to be a bubble or whole disconnect from reality. So instead of receiving good answer, you receive some bias. Yeah, that's what happens a lot of places. Wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Fresh Prince. Welcome. Ahlan wa sahlan. Slave of Allah. So if someone does iftar, do they count as a faqih specialist? Because we see many iftar graduates aren't. They should, if the course is really good and the students are capable. But unfortunately, like we said, there's a lot of places that are graduating people, but they're not really capable of fiqh. One cannot take advantage of the mercy of Allah. The thought that one can sin and repent later is dangerous, right? Yeah, I mean, if a person thinks, you know what, I'll do sins, then later on ask Allah, that's not a good thing to do. Pashtana, ahla wa sahlan, sanga halde. Haven't checked your site for a long time. Any new courses? I haven't at the moment. Have I put new courses on? I don't know when the last time you checked. I've been slowly uploading some videos, like Shar Qatrun Nada. I've been uploading some of those. So you can check that out, inshallah. Okay, so Abu Rivaya, clarification. So say if I live in city A and visit my parents' city B, which is 500 miles away, I have a room with my stuff in there. Is it watan? No, that's not watan. Yeah, so you can have two watans if you have like some sort of ownership of a property, or you're under someone else's guardianship. Yeah, so like if a man has two wives, one wife in London, one wife in Manchester, then he can have two watans. Yeah. If all siblings are working, paying bills and saving for marriage, is it permissible to get a carer to look after old parents? I mean, it's permissible, but the thing is that, taking care of your own parents, there is nothing in the world that can come close to the reward a person's going to get. That's the thing you have to remember. So sometimes you have to think, do I compromise on dunya? What do I do? Imagine your parents passed away. Was it worth all those hours that you put into your work? Was it worth it? That's the question. That's the thing, sadly. And when you live in a world where it's a lot about earning, until when are you going to earn? Until you get a house? And how long is that going to take? And then sometimes your parents pass away, and sometimes your parents are very ill, and you become deprived of all the mercy from Allah. Yeah, so you have to kind of strike a balance, I would say. You're welcome, Bashtan. You're welcome. Okay, my charge is about to finish on my phone, so I will be going off. I'll be going off because my charger cannot fit. Can it fit up to here? Actually, yeah, I can. So you guys, you can see my phone here. Right. If I joined second rakat of Zuhur in Tashahhud, but Imam stood up as soon as I started reciting Tashahhud, should I keep sitting, complete the recitation? No, get up, stand up. What do I need to be a proper mufti? You need to buy me a steak, bro. You need to buy me a proper nice steak. Then you become a good mufti. Okay. Hamza, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Hamza. I hope you are well. Is Amal of Ahl Kufa superior than Amal Ahl Medina? And also, what would make amal kufr. Yeah, so what I would suggest reading for this, Sheikh Suhail Hanif has a little risala he's written. I think it's called Locating Sharia. Check that out, and that would answer your issue. Valerie, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, ahlan wa sahlan, du'as inshallah. S. Dudu Maulana, which types of people are higher in rank than the people of knowledge aside from prophets, the Siddiq? Would you need to be on the path of the ilm to be a Siddiq? No. There are many people who are higher in rank than ulama. The thing is, ranks are all in the eyes of Allah, isn't it? Inna akramakum indallah atqakum. Nowhere in the Quran does Allah say that the ulama are the highest rank. Yeah. But Allah mentions about taqwa. So if you are alim and you have taqwa, then your ilm enhances you. If you are non-alim and you have taqwa, then you can even be higher than many ulama. Yeah, so the main thing is about taqwa. Yeah, so these titles in the Quran, mu'minun and muslimun and siddiqun, and all of these titles are aspects of a believer from different angles. The main core thing that will elevate your status is taqwa. If I go to UK to become mufti with you, I'm going to end up being a faqih by day and roadman by night. Oh yes, that's true, guys. What's a good place for steak place where you are? Steak place, I would say, if you go to, I mean, it depends how much you're willing to pay, guys, right? So if you want a good steak, you are going to have to pay above £30. Yeah, at least above £30, I would say, to get yourself a really good, juicy steak. So Kobe Sizzler, so there's a place called Kobe Sizzler. That's quite good. Their steaks are quite nice. If you go to Leicester has a place called Emre, EMRE. Their steaks are very nice. There's a place called Meat Club in Birmingham, Meat Club. Apparently their steaks are, I haven't been there, but apparently their steaks are very good. Again, this is the kind of range you're looking for. You can just make it in your backyard. Yes, you can come down to my house and we can make some steak. Inshallah, why not? Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a day, guys. So, Jazakumullah khair. Have a wonderful day. And if you're fasting, make dua for us as well. Allah accept all of our ibadat as well. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum. If my khufs got drenched in water, e.g. got immersed in a pool, can I still continue up? So if they have wet your entire foot, if your foot has become more than 50% wet, then it's fine. Your wudu's done. Yeah, because you don't wipe over them anymore. Yeah, so you have wudu basically. So make sure your both feet are now wet fully, and that's it. Chilling. Have you ever ate steak at Grills? I've heard a lot about that place, but I know I haven't. Grills. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't had steak there. Yeah, food, guys. If you're fasting, then you're salivating. I can tell. Yeah, me, I like meat. Honestly, yeah, I have to eat meat. If I do not eat meat regularly, then I'm a Pathan, so my brain doesn't work. So I have very strong cravings for meat. I guess the people, what kind of meat do you guys like? Did you hear in America there's actually this virus going around through these ticks that basically make you allergic to certain types of meat? I read it today in an article. I don't know how true it is. I guess the people of knowledge are superior and they are higher potential than someone who hasn't got knowledge, since you can do a good deed if you don't know good from bad. You see, that all depends, isn't it? It depends on many, many factors. Theoretically, that should be the case, isn't it? But it's, there are people in the Quran, Allah mentions, that don't seem to be ulama, but Allah gave them high rank, like the man in the people in the cave and the man who in Surah Yasin. And there's many stories of the pious who mentioned about certain individuals who came in a dream to them. I don't know how, obviously, how all that works. But the point is that on the Day of Judgment, there will definitely be ulama that will be in the fire of Jahannam. And there will be definitely ulama that will be from the highest ranks. But at the same time, there'll be people there, like the lady who fed the dog water from a shoe, will be above many other people. Wildad, ahlan wa sahlan wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan from Zamboanga city in Philippines. Oh, that's a slick name, guys. One day, inshallah, my brother, I will come to Philippines. I've heard a lot of good things about Philippines. Same here, yeah. Yeah, you know, meat is just that thing, really. Some of the best meat I had was madfoon at a restaurant in Jeddah. Yeah. Right now. I'm going to have to go to Jeddah now. Oh, by the way, I got my Pakistani Nadra card today. So, inshallah, I'm going to maybe try to find a ticket, inshallah, to go Pakistan. Inshallah, for a few weeks. Inshallah. Haven't been there for how long now? 14 years now. Haven't been there. Gonna go meet my teacher that's still alive and go around, do a bit of chakkars. Chill out. Okay, guys, take care, inshallah. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.